Welcome to part 3 of this series where we're looking at the different types of hypotheses. This time we're going to be looking at the causal hypotheses or influence or impact hypotheses, which use another type of analysis testing. I want you to take a moment and look at this statement that is the definition of a causal hypothesis. Notice that for this type of hypotheses, there are again two variables, but instead there's going to be a different type of relationship between them. So there is going to be an impact that one is going to have on the other, and that's what makes these keywords very important for this type. So look at the bottom, you see that there's influence, impact, and effect. Those are quick clues that help you understand that this is going to be a causal type of hypothesis. What's important here is that there's going to be an independent and dependent variable. So again, from our previous video, you know that there are independent variables or predictive variables, as well as dependent variables that rely on the effects of the independent variable. So it is important again that this type of hypothesis is going to rely on those two types of labels. Let's look at an example. We're going to keep our topic of dating among college students, and we're going to look at the variables physical attraction, and variable 2 will be shyness. A sample hypothesis for this type will state that physical attraction will have a positive effect on shyness. That means that the presence of one variable will cause the other variable, the dependent variable, to increase. Let's see what that looks like. So as you can see here, physical attraction is the independent variable, and once it interacts or is in a relationship with shyness, we're predicting that we will cause it to increase. So that's why you see kind of this weird arrow for physical attraction. It's not necessarily increasing or decreasing. Instead, its presence will cause the dependent variable to increase. Let's look at another example. This time we're going to look at a negative direction for the causal hypothesis. That means that the presence of one variable will cause the dependent variable to decrease. Using our same variables, physical attraction and shyness, our statement prediction will state that physical attraction will have a negative effect on shyness. That means that the presence of physical attraction is allowing shyness to decrease in its level. Again, that causal impact allows one variable, or the predictive variable, to impact the other one in a negative way. This time is what we predicted. Let's look at another example. In this case, we're going to consider what we know to be that null hypothesis, or non-directional. The hypothesis states that physical attraction will have no effect on shyness. That means that the presence of our predictive variable, the independent variable, will have no impact or influence in the level of shyness. Whether it increase or decrease, we're going to say it does nothing to it. That's what makes it the null. In this case, that means we don't know what type of impact is happening with this type of variable. If we were to reject or not find support for this prediction, we would have to reject the null hypothesis and state that there is a significant effect that physical attraction has on shyness. In this case, for causal hypotheses, the type of analysis that we would run in SPSS would be called a regression. The regression is what's used on a causal hypothesis. So when you see those key words, influence, impact, and effect, we know that the correct test for us to run would be the regression. So in SPSS, when you see those clues, you know that a regression is the type of analysis that you're looking for, and you're going to make sure that there's an independent and a dependent variable for that analysis. This concludes the series of the types of hypotheses. I hope this helps you as you continue putting together your final paper. If not, you can always ask more questions or email me, or we can meet by Zoom conference.